Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour, Joe and Jason. Happy Friday, baby. Yeah. Listen, it is going to be a quick day here for my wife and I. We're getting ready to hop on a plane heading to Austin. There's a big Texan event that we're going to be at. We're going to be at the F1 races. Jason, him and Jack are heading right to the airport. They'll be joining us. Mike Morris is going to be there. We will be closed on Monday. Patriot will be closed. The radio station will be closed. We'll be back on Tuesday. Got some announcements. We have good news. The new transmitter seems like years and years in the making. It like everything, right? It cost more than you wanted. It cost me more than I wanted to pay. But here's the good news. We are operating on the new transmitter for the very first time. We're slowly ratcheting up the power. Right now, I think we're at 8,000 watts, which is probably way better than what the old transmitter was doing. Jason thinks that hopefully by this afternoon, we'll be running at full power, 10,000 watts. I'll be honest, we've never done that in the whole time I've owned the radio station. I wonder when the last time the station ran at 10,000 watts.
When you first bought it, I think it was right at the beginning of COVID. Jim was able to get it, I think for 6 to 8 months, it was blasting nicely at 10,000 watts. And what happened was we figured out that the old transmitter just wasn't able to handle it for more than that 8-month span. But it was really good. I mean, right when we really, really needed it, we were blasting out really good. And then it, of course,
it just...
the rusted old car decided to blow a gasket.
Yeah, right. At that point, right, it was like, hey, okay, everything's fine as long as you don't go over 50 miles an hour. And, oh, by the way, you got to pump the brakes 3 or 4 times to stop. And, the emergency brake may be necessary at some point. Well, it should be a significant difference, hopefully. But that was great news. Also, this is something I want to make sure you guys get this done. So, as we told people at the Phoenix meeting, for those of you here in Arizona, we're going to do mini meetings. We only want 4 or 5 people at a time. This will be your opportunity. Bring your stuff. Bring your coins. If you're using a laptop, bring that. If you're using your phone, bring that. This is going to be, Wayne is doing the first one Monday. It's going to be in Chandler from 6 to 7:30. 6 to 7:30. What is this meeting for? This is to get you on the Biconomy exchange all by yourself. In other words, you're going to do it. You're going to essentially crack your coin open. You're going to get the gunk off of it. You're going to take your Coinbase money. You're going to transfer it over to Biconomy. You can transfer over some Texit to Biconomy. Yep, this is it. So Monday, 6 to 7:30. And I only think we've got 1 or 2 spots in that meeting. And then Tuesday in Mesa, 5:30 to 7:30. The one in Chandler is at the Chandler Library. That is on 22 South Delaware. And again, that meeting 6 to 7:30. The one in Mesa, 5:30 to 7:30 at 635 North Power Road. Guys, Do not wait. I know some of you are going to wait. We're going to have meetings here at the office because the office really isn't situated. Unlike, the radio station, Jason and Mike, they got that huge lobby area. We don't really have that here. But I will say this to you guys. Don't wait. Call if there's a slot open. There is some really good money to be made right now. And I've been telling you, and I will tell you again, buy as much Texit coin as you can at $4 because it's not going to be $4 much longer. Matter of fact, next week when Jason and I get back, it'll be interesting, but before the end of the month, this thing is going to go. Get in, get it done. You can put some, maybe put a sell order in at $5, $5.25. But get in. This is via appointment only. Do not just show up and expect to get in. So if you want to be at the meeting in Chandler on Monday or the meeting in Mesa on Tuesday, there's a couple spots left in each one of those. Call us, 800-951-0592. Jason and I, we're going to be right back. 800-951-0592. Yeah, put a couple of fingers of Jack in the coffee. It's going to be one of those days. What a wild ride. So, in the 24 hours that we've been since we were on last with Patriot, a lot of things happened. Yesterday, I knew something was up. Something happened. We've been talking about stress in some of the banks, in the plumbing of the debt markets. It reared its head yesterday. We're going to get to that in a minute. Right now, the Dow just went negative again. So it's kind of like yesterday. Started out positive, finished down. Right now, it's only down 2 points. S&P is down 13. NASDAQ is down 90. The 10-year note yesterday got below 4%. Today, it's just above it. Again, not for a good reason, right? Because there is major issues in the banks, and we'll get to that in a minute. TV gold is down $42. TV silver is down $2. But really what happened is in the aftermarket, listen to what gold and silver did last night. So this came out right at the end of the day. Gold got as high as, spot gold got as high as $43.80. New York gold broke $4,400. Silver was over $54. Right now, I'm going to tell you, spot gold's down 80. Okay, 42.45. Silver down a couple of dollars here, right at $52. Listen, this is why we keep telling you, like today as an example, if you're wanting to sell late in the day, and I get one or two coins, no big deal. But if you want to sell a large quantity, we're probably going to tell you no. And the reason is there's nowhere for us to go. Markets moving. Look, the gold market, listen, it moved $200 between the high and the low just in the last 12 hours.
Yeah, it's very volatile.
So very, very volatile. So just keep that. We're not going to, it's not because we're mean or this or that. It really is something where we have to have the ability to lay these things off. And like we said, the wholesalers are all back east. And especially on Friday, they are notorious. All of a sudden, they don't answer the phone, right? You know what I'm saying?
This week in particular, right? This week in particular.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Joe, I find it interesting that we had this pullback today. We'll see what happens Monday. If we have another pullback Monday, then it'll be a correction. But the premiums coming back, the price above spot coming back. We said yesterday, the below spot silver is going away. It feels like the price of silver and gold went back about what is going to cover for these premiums that are coming up. So it almost feels like the market's is starting to become normal again as far as spot versus what you sell it for. It actually feels like it's becoming more normal.
That is exactly right. And again, I think it's very soon there won't be any silver out there. Premiums will continue to rise. We're seeing this in the gold markets, really throughout all of this. But what happened yesterday? A few days ago, there was a rush. The Federal Reserve, they have this emergency facility. And, of course, I kind of laugh because I'm like, well, there's no emergency according to them, but they never close it now. It is always open, right? This is something since the financial crisis now that they're doing. Some banks hit it very hard, unexpectedly. Then late yesterday, news broke. Now, we had two big bankruptcies. One was Tricolor, which is the subprime auto loan, and the other was First Brands. And First Brands is something where really caught everybody by surprise. And the problem is this one looks like there could be fraud involved. And what that means is all of these bondholders that thought they were in first position and said we were going to be okay, all of a sudden there's no money for them. Well, if this was something where J.P. Morgan was affected or Wells Fargo or B of A, not a big deal, right? The losses are doable. That's not what happened. These losses appears to be, and I wouldn't even say, they say smaller. These banks aren't small. Zions Bank Corp hit with a huge charge-off. California Bank and Trust is owed money that we're waiting for. Could be over $60 million. Western Alliance. Now, Western Alliance, they were on the bad bank list. They have the same issues. This is something where these are regional, but these aren't tiny banks. These are more regional banks. And Jason, maybe these are some of the cockroaches Jamie Dimon was talking about. He's like, listen, when there's one cockroach, there's bound to be more. And already this first wave seems to be here. Yeah.
There's a lot of things that are moving very, what would I say, carefully, right? Everyone's being very, very careful how they step, because it seems like if you make a bad step, you can lose your shirt. I think when it comes to gold and silver, the part of it, Joe, we've been talking about London and how very quickly, if you're in a bad position, you get all the sharks around you are going to eat you alive. And be careful, right, Joe? Be careful on what's going down right now, what's been going on, and what's getting ready to happen. People and businesses, corporations, banks, gold and silver, all of it. You got to be careful the position that you hold, because things could get really dicey quick.
Yeah, this is something where these right now appears that these banks are going to have to declare these total losses. That's unusual. Usually, okay, you know what, we're going to recover, 80 cents on the dollar, 70 cents on 50 cents on the dollar. Right now, it is believed that there are lawsuits now going, but this may be total losses for these banks. And these aren't, losing, $50 to $100 million, not a big deal for the big banks. But, Jason, outside of if you're not one of the top 10, 15 banks, losing $100 million, that's a huge problem.
That's a huge problem. I mean, we talk about debt in trillions of dollars, and you have the federal budget, and these trillions of dollars are multiple hundreds of billions. But when it comes to actual things being bought and paid for, $100 million is a huge deal. That's a huge deal. This is a lot more real spending than a lot of the fake borrowing that goes on. Again, and it's like the tooth fairy sprinkling her magic, fairy money all over everybody. Once positions have been taken, you lose $1 million or $10 million or $100 million. It actually means real things in the business world. So maybe $1 million doesn't matter anymore, I guess. But $10 million,
$1 million's fine. Right?
$10 million is
that's getting itchy. But these were, like I said, 50 to 100 million.
Yeah.
That's big time money right there.
Yep. That's people get fired. A lot of people get fired over that.
Yeah, and it looks like at least in maybe the First Brands case, and even really both of these, fraud may be involved. Which any bankruptcy sucks, but when you have that where now we can't recoup any money. It makes it a much bigger problem. So that is what's been going on in the debt markets now that is forcing banks to essentially go to the emergency window. And let's just say this. I think there's more shoes to drop. And then on top of this, in England now, lines down the block for people trying to get in and get some gold and silver while it's still available. Jason, it seems to happen yesterday. Just to give you an example, we're not a coin shop. You don't just show up. Right?
Yep.
We had half a dozen people show up that they weren't customers. They were just on the internet.
Yep.
Right? Just looking to buy some gold and buy some silver. And I think it's just one of these things where I think it's very interesting now. A lot of people are starting to feel pretty uncomfortable with what gold and silver are doing. Because, listen, gold and silver, they're sending a warning, right? I mean, at the end of the day, gold's not over $4,000 because everything's great, right? Silver's not over $50 because everything's great, right? It's a warning.
Gold hit $3,000 right around St. Patrick's Day.
Was that when it was?
And a couple of weeks ago, we crossed over 4,000, and it's like 3,000 gold didn't exist.
Well, remember we were in that little trading range, between like 3,200 to, touching 3,500. And it felt like forever. It was like, 3 months?
Yeah.
Something like that, 4 months?
In the overall scheme of things, and if gold doesn't go back into the 3,000 range, the 3,000 gold is going to be a blip on the radar that nobody remembers. That's how fast it was.
We essentially, it's a great way, but we essentially went from like 3,300 to 4,300.
Yes.
I mean, that's just what happened. And we didn't stop at 36. We didn't stop at 37. We didn't stop at 38 or 39. We didn't stop at 4. Heck, we didn't stop at 41 or 42. The first stop was 43. We're really 43.80.
Right. Yep.
And how long now so far?
Monday will be interesting.
Yeah. We haven't had, usually the sell-offs last a day, sometimes half a day. We'll see. Do we get 2 or 3 days? Maybe. Do we consolidate here? Jason, do you think we consolidate
I'll make my
here?
prediction right now. My prediction for Monday is gold and silver goes racing super high really fast. What this smells like, this pullback to me, the weekend gives. Let's just go with London. This lower price that we're hitting right now gives London a little breathing room, maybe to buy up some stuff through the weekend, where the gold price doesn't change specifically because the markets here in the West are closed. And then I think on Monday it just explodes. This is just my guess. It's either going to go down again and correct, or it's going to be everything that we're losing today is going to be that plus some. Well, I think we'll end up on Monday with record highs. That's my prediction. I think this smells a lot like, hey, we need to help protect our buddies. Let's lower the price. If you're going to do anything to try to shoot that price down, which they couldn't all week, let's do it for the weekend because that gives us a couple of days, right? People are still buying and selling on the weekend, Joe, especially big buyers.
Yeah, absolutely they are. We'll be back right after the break.
Yes, ma'am.
800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason here on this Friday. $20 gold. 40. Is this right, honey? Do I have the right sheet? 43.50. 43.50. That's $100 less than yesterday. Gold right now coming back here was down over 100. It is no longer 42.55 right now for gold. So just $95 over spot here. And who knows where this thing finishes. As Jason said, that cheap silver, not so cheap today. You're looking at $400 a roll for quarters, $405 a roll on half dollars. Silver Eagles. Listen, Silver Eagles are down today, which is great. But, I mean, they're still $1,245. But that's $40 less than yesterday. Cases of Silver Eagles. Yesterday they were 32, and then I had to raise them during the day because silver kept running. 31,000 for a case of U.S. Silver Eagles at 800-951-0592. Yes, you can still trade your gold and silver to get into Texas if you so desire to do so. Remember, we're trying to figure out a solution, but today may be it for being able to, what I'll say, hit the easy button. Right now through today, I'll have an answer for everybody on Tuesday, but right now as things sit, starting Tuesday, your ability to sign up for Texas easily will change. Right now, through today, you can pay by check. You can pay by credit card. You can pay with gold and silver. You can pay cash. You can pay pretty much, we'll probably take it just about anything. Right. Roll of Silver Eagles, get you a seat. It's just that simple. If we can't figure it out, which right now we haven't, I'll just be honest with you, we haven't come up with a solution. Starting Tuesday, I will fill up to the amount of crypto that I have, which is north of $100,000, which sounds like a lot. It is not. We process, even on like this week is a slower week. We're going to be well over that number. The people that call later in the week will get put on a list. Guys, I'm just telling you, we're going to be 40,000 miners. We're going to be over $100 million raised when we get back here Tuesday. I'm hoping it makes it to the end of December. I'm hoping. Because I know what this coin's going to do. And as soon as this price goes shooting like a rocket ship, everybody and their mother is going to call. And, yeah, it's the opportunity to really make some serious money. But Bobby did a call for new miners, and I listen to these calls once in a while. And crazy what's coming. Layer 2's done. You guys, it's done. McKinney, which is kind of, I would say, headquarters central for Texas, they're in already. They're just waiting. As well as like 100 other mayors. They're waiting. Chamber of Commerce, they're waiting. They're ready. The fairs and festivals, which, people don't think that's a big deal. That's a $150 billion industry. They're waiting. We've doubled the power of the mine. Listen, I know it sucks because it's going to take like 3 weeks You're going to see the mine explode. And the price is going to reflect exactly what we have done. So what am I telling you? Get in. For those of you that are already in, maybe you've maxed out, Joe, I've got my 27. If you're already on your Coinbase and Kraken, if you're on Dextrade, if you're on Bioconomy, which you should be, buy every share of Texit that you can reasonably afford. And then you know what? Put a sell order in at 520. Buy it at 4, sell at 520. How great would that be? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. We've been telling you, I know, but Joe, the internet says it's a scam. The internet says it's a Ponzi scheme. The internet says, and the internet says. Here's what I'm going to tell all of you. You know, we got, 39,000 miners, something like that? I'll challenge anybody to go out there and find a single miner, just one, that says this is BS, that this is a scam, that this isn't real, that Bobby hasn't lived up to his promises. You know what's amazing? You can't find one. And let's face it, everybody knows. The second you think you got ripped on, they're on the internet guy, they can't wait to tell you. You know why it's not happening? Because it isn't. It's none of those things. I hope you join us. It's already, Jason and I can both tell you, it's changing people's lives. It is crazy. Especially, you know what actually is interesting is the people that really, hey, man, I put $3,000 in this, or I put $1,000 in this, and that was a big deal for me. I sold something of value to get in because I'm retired and I'm not making it. And they come in. Yesterday happened again yesterday. Again, another one. Joe, I'm getting more money a day than I was with my Social Security check. It's going to change my life. It's going to change my retirement. It can be life-changing. When we get back, though, should we worry about more bank fallout? Uh-oh. What could it be next? I may have an idea. 800-951-0592, gold 42.60. Climbing back here, $20 gold, 43.50. Silver, 52.10. Right? Climbing back again. Wall Street mixed right now. The Dow's up a little bit. The NASDAQ and the S&P down a little bit as issues in the regional banks and having to write off bankruptcies, and now it may be car loans that are next. So when we look at loans, okay, let's break down the loans. The big ones anyway, for the consumer. These are for the consumers. Okay, you've got the house, right? The mortgage. That's the biggest, right? Then you've got the credit card. Okay, so the credit cards, right? That's actually the smallest, believe it or not, and still over $1 trillion. You have auto loans and student loans. Okay, those are the big four categories when you think about the consumer. Now, we sit there and we talk about what's going on when we look at the economy as far as sales and jobs and this and that, but we really haven't focused in on, okay, underneath the hood here, how is the consumer looking? Auto loans, the safest of the four categories, has now become one of the riskiest. Over the last 15 years, delinquencies are up by more than 50%. The cost of cars, the cost related to car ownership increasing enormously. Right? So what are they saying? Hey, guys, it's not just the cost of the car. Right? We talked about it earlier this week, right? New car, first time ever, over $50,000. That's like the median price. The average price is even higher than that. But it's not just that. Then you got to insure the car. You got to register the car. Right? You have to pay for the maintenance of the car. And everything's outrageous. Right? I mean, a new battery used to be like 30, 40, 50 bucks. It's $100, sometimes $200, $300 for a battery. Tires, forget about it. They're now saying the average monthly payment has hit another record high in 1 in 5. By the way, it is now $767. That's the average. 20% of all auto loans are $1,000 or more. Auto loans are now topping 9% because they become so risky. It's a double whammy. The average auto loan balance has skyrocketed 60% in the last 15 years. So what does that say? Well, gosh, the consumer, they got to keep financing more and more and more debt. Where do a lot of these auto loans sit? Regional banks, smaller banks, credit unions. Then, of course, the student loan. Right now, 5.3 million people are in default. Another 4.3 million are in a stage they call late stage delinquency. So what is late stage delinquency? So student loans, they give you ridiculous amounts of opportunities before they put you into default. Late state delinquencies, you have to have not paid for 6 months all the way to 9 months. So in other words, before they put you in default, you have to go 9 months without paying. Listen, try to go 2 months without paying your auto loan and see what happens, right? I'm going to tell you what happens. You wake up in the morning or you leave your office for work and all of a sudden your car's gone, right? The repo man came and got it. Here's the funny part about this. You know what, Jason? You know what they don't tell me on this number? Something about almost 10 million people haven't paid a student loan in 6 months. How many haven't paid in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, right? 120 days, right? I mean, this thing, it's really something. The consumer is not holding up very well when we look at credit card and credit card defaults, auto loan defaults, and student loan defaults, and even foreclosure. Now, granted, foreclosure are still really low, but even those are rising.
Yeah, the 30 days and 60 days is it's not severe. It's when you get to the 90 days and up, and you're saying 6 months, and 6 months is somebody that's given up. If you haven't paid,
yeah, right, but they still don't put you. You got to go another 3, and then okay, at month 10, we'll put you in default, right? You know.
Well, if it was my money, I'd probably have them at default at 4 months. I mean, because once you pass those first 2 months, yeah, anybody can get behind for a couple of months, and they'll try to catch back up. But once you get to that 6 month, you know that those people they're not going to pay. Who's going to catch up on 6 months if they're still grinding it out? You can't grind your way back to 6 months of payments. That's a severe problem, right, Joe? That's waiting for a huge tax return or hoping for something miraculous to happen.
And I just want you to know the banks don't have any reserves. Matter of fact, since COVID, the Fed said, don't worry about it. Spend it all. Loan it all. That's why these defaults now are having such a big impact. We'll be back. Final segment coming up. We're back here. Final segment on this Friday. Patriot Radio News Hour. $20 gold pieces, $43.50. Everything else is regular price here. We're out of all that cheap silver. But here's the good news. We got a pullback today, so prices reflect that. Continue to add, or if you want to trade to get into some more Texit. Remember, the meetings are filling up. The mini meetings in Arizona. We have a meeting Monday. Wayne is, listen, that's who you want to go to the meeting with. No offense. Wayne is really good at this stuff. Monday in Chandler, 6 to 7:30 at the library on 22 South Delaware Street, 6 to 7:30. I think there's only one spot maybe left in that one. Big call, they'll let you know. And then Tuesday in Mesa at the Mesa Library on Power Road, 635 North Power Road, 5:30 to 7:30. And I think there may be only one or two spots in that meeting. So get your place reserved and put a buy order on Texit. There you go. There's my. That's what I'm telling you. If it was me, well, I've already done it. Let's just say that. So if you want to do what did Joe do this week? I bought more Texit. Matter of fact, I've got another buy order out there that I hope gets filled. That's what I'm doing. So, but those mini meetings when we get back, remember we're going to be closed Monday. So I want everyone to be aware we are closed Monday. Jason and I will be back on Tuesday. But when we get right back, we'll talk a little more Texit on the half-empty cup. But there was the debate in New York City, the mayor debate, where Mandani is got this huge lead out there. Pretty interesting stuff. It just doesn't end, right? Oh, no, we need free buses. That's what it is, Jason. We just need to give away more free stuff, and that will somehow fix everything. It's amazing. I don't get it, right? And this is what the people want, right? The people seem to clamor when the government says, give me something for free. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's what I want. That's the last thing people should want. But guess what? If you want to get elected, I guess that's the new thing, Jason. How much free stuff are you going to give us?
That's the way government's been for a long time now, and it just gets more and more severe. And, it's either those at the top are able to benefit from whatever freebies are there, or the people at the bottom, to keep them from storming the streets and burning cities down, they get freebies, and everyone in the middle gets to work really hard and try to support a little bit higher standard of living from those at the bottom that are getting freebies, Joe. So it's one of those things we're living with, and it's not getting any better. It's getting worse. So let's just shut the government down so that everyone can scream and holler about all the money they're not getting, so they can just pay themselves some more money. We've come to an agreement. We're spending more.
Well, the government's still shut down, so...
somebody's not getting their piece of the pie. That's why it's shut down.
Right. We'll see what happens.